Hey, YogaMotion trainees, we are extending our choreography in a 30-minute practice to a 60-minute practice. So now we're building upon our Muladhara, get yourself grounded YogaMotion practice. We're moving to 60, which is now suggested in your manual. 5 minutes of centering, 10 warm-ups, 30 whole minutes for asana, 5 releases, and 10 reflection or relaxation. So again, you can play with these in and out depending. So let's just stick with what we've got and play with adding before and after those other practices. I'm going to stick with Tadasana as the centering. I'm going to stay there, keep the even breathing. But now I'm going to add in a little bit more alignment principle because I have a little bit more time. So it doesn't mean you have to add another pose. This is really important. You might just add more information or more time to be quiet in the pose. So one way or the other. More information, more silence. So I'm going to add a little bit more about alignment, and then on the breath, I'm going to add a little bit more about technique. So when I'm talking about even breathing, deep full breath, I might have people have their hands on their belly then and really feel how that diaphragm expands. Have them take a few breaths there. Then bring the hands to the ribs and back down. And I just had to do this because it's so cool in this shirt. Watch. So I'm really going to expand. I'm exhaling everything and then expand. And out. Isn't that cool? So anyways, you can have people really feel and see how far apart their fingers come if they don't have a shirt like this. And then up into the up into the clavicular breath. So now you're giving a little bit more information about the areas of respiration: clavicular, thoracic, and diaphragmatic. Then we go from there, from that centering, into our warm-ups, which you've already designed: Palayasana, squat, pumps, lift from center. And because I have more time this time, I'm going to actually start, instead of with Palayasana, you know the way I like to start is big open arms, because I've just opened the breath, and now I'm going to open it more with these big open arms. So I'm going to add that on the top. You don't have to keep adding underneath. Open arms here. Then go through this series. I'm going to cut out the chi shower. And from there, I'm going to add my favorite, half salutations. I might only get through one of them, but that's okay. If I only have time for one, I'll just take more time in each form. So I might take a few breaths on one side and the other, right? I don't have to always flow. So be creative and let people really feel what these movements bring. So it's not about doing the movement, it's about being in it. So there's my warm-ups. So I've got 10 minutes here. I did my 5-minute warm-up, or my 5-minute centering, and now I'm coming down to asana. I get a whole 30 minutes, so I can really shift things around. So what I did is I took the tree and I moved the tree down. So I'm going to start out with warrior 2, side angle, and triangle came off. Put that back in, and some straddle, and then go into tree after all of this, because they're all still very similar in how we're aligning our hips and legs. And now I get to add a little bit more, so I want to think grounding. So the timing here is 2, 4, 6, both sides, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Let's just say this is 20 minutes. If we really take our time, okay? And then remember, what you can do is going to be twice as long with the group. Now I've got 10 more minutes, so what I want to add is I'm going to do a little partner work. I'm going to break out and do some partner work, and I'm going to do Hindi squat, because that is very grounding, right? And it's kind of fun to feel a belonging. First chakra is all about a sense of belonging. So I'm going to get people together with a partner. We're going to hold wrists and we're going to lower down into that squat, maybe half squat, what I call suspension bridge. And then we're going to work with getting down on the ground that way. That's going to take some time. You got to really control the environment unless you're just working one-on-one, which will be a lot easier. That's really a nice way to bring in this essence of Muladhara chakra. And then once we get down on the floor, transition from that squat safely to the floor, I would then what I want to do then is child, because the energy is going to go up when people are working together, even if it's just one-on-one. You're looking at each other. There's a lot of energy. Now I want to go down to the earth, drop my head on the earth, go back inside, be the child, and recognize my relationship with nature and all living things. So it's going to pull the energy back down. Got it? So I've got 10 minutes to do that. Most of it's going to be in the squat and a little time there. So there's my 30 minutes of asana. And because I'm down on the ground, instead of doing a standing cat-cow, I'm now going to turn that cat-cow into a tabletop cat-cow, right? I've gone from child, now I've got cat-cow, and then from there, maybe what I call the twisted child. So that's a side bend or a side opener. Nice and easy. And then come to the back and do some double knee drops. How much time? Oh, this is only 5, so maybe just a minute in cat-cow, twisted child, coming to the floor, double knee drop. So don't rush it. Maybe you don't do twisted child. You got to see how people are moving. And we've got 5 minutes, probably a little bit more for that transition. So let's say it's 5 to 7 minutes. Hope you can read this. And then we're going to come down to Tadasana. Now we're going to change Tadasana into Shavasana and get down on the ground, right? And we have 10 minutes. So a really wonderful grounding is squeeze release technique. We've done that in Yoga Nidra. And that squeeze, letting go is another way of really getting into the body. That's what this is all about, grounding in the physical form on earth. So I'm going to do squeeze release and then total deep relaxation with some silence. Silence is golden. So don't abandon your student. You're going to say, and now we're going to be silent for 3 minutes, and I'll ring the bell after that time. That way they know you're not abandoning them. They're not wondering where you are. So give that time frame when you go into silence. That should be a very grounding routine. I think I'll do this one tomorrow morning. I've done it in my mind, and I'm sure I've done it a lot, but try it out and have fun creating your own 30-minute practice, your 15-minute practice, growing to 30, growing to 60. And I'm going to leave you with that, and you can design your own 90-minute practice. Have fun. Namaste.